Hello and welcome to this Wealth Planner demonstration. I'm Anthea Faulkner from Bright Spenders and I help people all over the world to really rock their finances out of the ballpark. I know you're going to find this Wealth Planner tool incredibly useful, inspiring you to greater focus on your wealth management. So let's get going. There are three boxes that I provided to put in information to enable you to see the available projections. So these are these here. And so this will show you what might be achieved given different savings and investment scenarios. The weekly savings amount is the first one. And I'm going to put in here, for example, $50 per week as a savings amount. Then I'm going to put in here a growth of 10%. So here are four separate people, and four separate scenarios: person A, person B, C, and D. And they're all color coded to suit the colors on the graph line. So person A, green, invests a regular amount every week for 50 years. And you can see the green line ends up around the vicinity of $3 million. Not bad. Person B invests regularly for 10 years, the same as person A, but then decides he has other priorities for his money and he stops, but he leaves some money invested at the 10%. So 2.35 million is where this person ends up. Not bad considering that they only saved the money for 10 years and then left the money invested. Person C, the yellow one, he waited for 10 years before he started. Sounds like the majority of us, right? He noticed that the other people were saving and he thought, gee, I should do that too. So he saved for 40 years after the 10-year delay. And you can see the yellow line here. This person only gets to 1.25 million because of that time that was lost at the beginning. Now, person D is an interesting person. He invests regularly for 25 years, same as person A. Then after 25 years, he decides he's had enough and he stops saving and he decides he'd like to start withdrawing, which is why we have the third box over here, weekly withdrawal. Now I'm going to test out $250 a week as a weekly withdrawal. So he's deposited $50 a week for 25 years, and now he's going to take out $250 a week for the next 25 years. So he still ends up with a cool 1.74 million up here and down here. That's not bad. Now let's push a little further and try $400 a week. I wonder what that will do. Right, okay, not bad. Well, we're still under the $1 million mark. So we put $50 in for 25 years and pulled $400 out each week for 25 years. Still almost $1 million. Let's push that to $500 and see what we get. So even at $500 a week, we still end up with almost $500,000. 462,000 after taking out $500 a week. So that might look great, and certainly it's very inspirational if you're 15 years old. From 15 to 65, you can see what you would be able to achieve. But most people watching this demonstration are probably not 15 years old. So does that mean that time has closed the door and made it impossible for you to achieve these sorts of results? Well, the whole idea of this wealth planner is to allow you to work out a plan to catch up if you've been getting a bit slow getting started. So let's click on the tab down here that says You. So you can see here the 4 lines from the previous screen. But now what we have available is a place where you can plan from where you are, a journey that will enable you to get the outcomes that you would like to achieve. So let's assume that 20 years have gone by and nothing much has happened in the savings department. And whatever number we type into the weekly deposit amount column, that will be the deposit for the rest of the period unless we enter another number further down. So if we're going to enter in $50 here in year 20 at age 35, so now the blue line has appeared on the graph by depositing that $50 a week. Up here we've got 10% investment growth. Now I've allowed you to put in a different investment amount because you might think, well, gee, I can do better than 10%, but I'm just going to put 10% in here so that everything's equal. So with $50 a week, starting at year 20, you can reach just over $500,000, which is what this person did just by putting in $50 a week for 25 years and then pulling out $500 for 25 years. How depressing is that? If only you'd started sooner. Never mind, let's keep going. So now at age 35, 20 years after age 15, I'm going to suggest that you might have between you and your partner perhaps about $30,000 in superannuation. So knowing that you've been left behind and you're deciding that you'd like to do something to catch up, you investigate doing a couple of property deals. So I'm not suggesting that this is a good strategy, simply that I know people have done this and it's an example of increasing your investments. So at age 35, perhaps with a small family in tow, you make the decision that time needs to be caught up. So you buy an old rundown house, and with some energy and some money poured into it, you do it up and sell that property. And I'm going to be very conservative here and say that a profit of another $30,000 is made out of that exercise. So that exercise is repeated over the next 2 years. And now I know people who've actually done this in 1 year and made $100,000. So I know it's absolutely achievable. And so there are 2 house renovations in the time between age 35 and 40. So now projections are looking a lot better. We've got nearly $1.8 million. Now at 40, you would think that you and your partner probably have good jobs and can afford to save a little bit more. So I'm going to suggest that we try saving $100 a week from age 40 on. So now we're up over the $2 million mark. So at this point, you've been busy with the kids, you've had a bit of a holiday, and you've decided that it's time to get back in and maybe get some extra cash. Another house renovation has been done, and this time $40,000. So because you're getting a bit better at this now. So now you can see you've achieved a $2.5 million outcome at age 65 after 50 years, but you didn't do anything for the first 20 years. And now you're going to do some intensive catch-up work. So let's come down here to year 30. And let's say we put $150 a week in. Didn't make a lot of difference. So what if you decided you could do another $40,000 profit renovation 2 years after the last one? Take your time a bit to do it. And now you're up to $3 million. So you can see how easy this is to use. Now I should add here, what happens if you need to take some money out of the system? Well, you could easily put in a negative. So let's put in minus $10,000 here, and that acts as a withdrawal. So you might actually plan to take some money out for a daughter's wedding or for an around the world holiday with your family before they get too old, some things like that. But you can see how this wealth planner can enable you to pick your starting point and look at some scenarios that may have been really great if you could have started them when you were young enough. And now you've got the opportunity to put a custom plan together that will enable you to plan for the wealth that you want to have in place when you get to retirement age, so you can enjoy those retirement years. That's it. Very simple to use, very powerful, and certainly very motivating. If you'd like help with increasing your weekly savings amount, either by paying off debt or plugging your spending leaks so that you can get to your goals much faster, then please get in touch for your completely complimentary spending planner strategy session. Thanks for listening.